Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
All right. And then you're going to put the forms up?
Yes, so whenever you're ready, I'll share. I think we should probably start with Success Tracker, right? So
Great.
I have that ready to go when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Darren. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I'm good.
So it looks like we have Darren, Rachel, and maybe Carolinda, but Carolinda not. Oh, there she is. Okay. Hello. All right. So we're kind of hosting this call because we want to get you ahead of the game as we start the semester. So these are going to be forms most likely you're not doing already, a tracking and accountability format you haven't used. I can tell you one thing, so just let's get you clear. It takes about 6 months to learn these forms. This you chances of you leaving this call and being like, got it done is not, this is just not how that works because it's a tracking system you're not used to. But the sooner, here's what I can tell you. So when I started coaching, it was 2008. You guys were like 12 probably, but it was 2008 and I got all these forms and I went ahead and downloaded them. Like I went ahead and downloaded the pay logs. I went ahead and downloaded like the profit and loss and the personal budget. And I retroactively went back and I kind of recreated my year learning the forms. That's a lot of work, but I'm just telling you, the sooner you kind of get used to filling the forms and the easier it's going to get. Now we're going to go through the forms and I'm going to give you hints on them. And also, just so you know, there's no expectation you come into call 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that they're fully filled out. But what I need you to do is do your best, right? Fill in what you can, write questions right on the form. They can be ugly, messy, dirty, doesn't matter, right? Like as you're getting used to them. Because it's a different way of doing things than you're used to. But we're going to pull up some forms so that you can take a look at them and I can start giving you hints and tips on filling them out. You can ask questions anytime you want. So if you want to just say, hey, question, you're not going to bother me, right? Like this is for you. So I want to make sure if I'm talking too fast or if you need a little more information that you slow me down, okay? All right. So the first form you guys are going to start on is the success tracker, otherwise known as the greatness tracker. That is basically tracking the activities that you do every week so that we can see where you're spending your time. But it's also to see that you can see your productivity. Does that make sense? So you're going to be able to see, okay, well, I made this many phone calls. I had this many leads. I had this many appointments. Oh, so I went on all these appointments. I didn't put anything under contract. Where's the disconnect, right? So, Rebecca, you want to put the success tracker up? Cool. All right, you guys, I won't see you as much. So you may need to if you got to interrupt me, definitely speak up, okay? So the success tracker, you're going to see the tab at the bottom. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you might have to because I'm doing it, but they can't see me. See the tabs week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You fill one of these in every week. Okay. And you have calls every twice a month, so every 2 weeks. So you'll send me two complete trackers for every call. So we're gonna give you some tips on what is what and how you fill it out, but you're gonna send me two every call. So on your first call, we're going to get much more specific on the goal line, right? Right now, I'm just going to teach you kind of what the different categories are and the totals, totaling on the total. The last line on J is your goal line. We're going to make goals, but they're going to be different for each of you, right? So if you notice, it's morning. So some of you guys might say, I got to work out. I never work out. I got to get good to do it once a week. Some of you might say it's 5 times a week. So we're going to make individual goals, right? Not just one blanket goal for all of you on different things that you want to be working on. But the reason that's there is I I can't stress enough how important it is if you start your morning or your day off right, it will help the rest of your day, right? So that's why very on purpose we have these things on here. Morning routine followed. So some of you could have a very in-depth morning routine, right? Getting up at 5 and you meditate and you do this and you do that and do that. We're not going to create this impossible routine for you, but part of that is for me, I can tell you, like I go to the gym early in the morning. If I have prepared my stuff the night before, my day works better, right? Like if I have a routine in the morning where I get out at a certain time, I have to be at the office at a certain time, I'm much more structured. right? So morning routine is going to be whatever your morning routine is. Your workout will be whatever your goal is. So mine's 5 a week. So we'll figure out what your goals are. If we're not getting to the gym enough, and a lot of people aren't because time, right, structure, everything else, we're going to take a look at that. Team meeting if you have a team. Now, here's a question for you. So, Darren, I'm going to pick on you. If you
Okay.
don't have a team, who do you meet with?
Oh, are you asking me the question? I have a team, but I have
Okay. So, you have a team, you meet with your team. Rachel, do you have a team?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
So, if you don't have a team, and so a lot of people say, well, I don't have a team meeting because I don't have a team. Well, who can you meet with? Who can you start your day with? How can you
Excel
organize your
spreadsheets.
and you,
Right.
right? Your spreadsheets, your to-do list, whatever it may mean, and you'll see daily to-do list completed is right there. So for most people, we're like, oh, I worked all day. I didn't get the most important things done, right? That's chaos. So to me, if you have a daily to-do list, mine's super high tech. It says to do. You know, I can share it with you. It's very difficult. But if I know today I've got to get to the office, I have to do these things first. Because we all know day explodes, things go wrong, something gets added, the appraisal doesn't go right, whatever it is, kind of derails your day. So you're going to start your to do list with the most important things. Three most important things I like, top three tasks that must happen first. They can be quick, they can be long, whatever it is, but today is a success, or at least before lunch is a success if I accomplish these things, right? So I don't squirrel off into something else. Okay. So that's morning. Any questions on morning? Again, we're going to come up with goals for your workout. Like for me, morning routine followed, it's probably good to do Monday through Friday at least. Like the weekend for me, I might not follow the same morning routine, but my workout is however many times a week. My team meeting, I mean, ideally you're doing one every day, even if it's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, you're on the phone, you're on Zoom, whatever it is. We're going to come up with a goal in the daily to-do list. I like you that you're doing it every day during the week. If you're not doing it every day, then we're going to come up with some goals because you guys aren't going to go from 0 to 500, right? Telling you don't work out, so you got to do 5 a week, or you never do a to do list and we got to be perfect is not a way to get you guys really committed to this. So we're going to figure that out depending on where each of you are. Okay.
And if I like work out in the evening, would I just swing that down to the evening? I see there's an evening thing there.
You can swing it to the evening, but really, it kind of, I appreciate it's in the morning. But if you work out that day, like I work out twice a day, sometimes it's at 4 and 5 p.m. I still just fill two of them out on Monday in that workout space.
Got it. Just leave it there. But yeah, okay.
It's more that I want to make sure that if it's a goal of yours, like there are a lot of people who say, I got to work out 3 times a week. Well, if I don't make you track it, I can't hold you accountable to it.
Got it.
Okay. But good question. All right. Now we have actions. See the green. Why do you think actions are green, guys? Why would they be green?
There
They
are
bring
green
monies.
activities. Green money.
Money generating activities. Yay. Okay. Now, some people get confused by this, but I'm breaking out these things because I need to see where you're spending your time. And so let's talk about it. Break bread coffee is a break bread, right? That is when you can be with a client, you can be with a VIP, you can be with whoever, that you're actually meeting someone for coffee, having lunch with them, cocktails with them. It could be dinner, whatever. I don't recommend you do a lot of dinners, they're more expensive, right? So to me, coffees are the least expensive. Lunches can be second, but if we're trying to not spend tons of money but get in front of people breaking bread, it's pretty key. I like that you break bread with your business partners. Certainly, you could go out and show houses and then go have lunch. We'll talk about how you do that, but break breads. Are you guys doing that pretty regularly right now?
Yeah, some decent amount.
Okay. All right. Carolyn is like, Rachel's like, maybe. Lance.
I try to get it in at least one a week, if not two.
Okay. So to
Yeah, I'd
me,
say I have about 2 a week.
good. Okay. That's better than
Yeah.
zero, right? And it's this is a contact sport, right? Like sales is a contact sport. We got to be in front of people. So break breads, I mean, I think look, you can also break bread with multiple people. Like if we're trying to maximize time, if I'm going to VIP break bread, I can meet with my estate planner, my accountant, and my financial advisor, have coffee with the three of them, connect each other, see how we can all work together, right? That's one break bread, but with three people. So I'm a big believer in maximizing time, right? Seeing or back or stacking times. I might have 3 coffees in one day. Now I should not drink too much coffee because I'm already hyped. So I'll be drinking water, but I'd rather meet someone 45 minutes 3 times in a row in one space than have to drive all over town 3 times. So there's different ways that we can teach you how to maximize your time. Daily phone calls. Whew. So that's outbound prospecting phone calls. That is not, I called the termite inspector. I double checked with the attorney that the appraisal was done. That is not your business getting stuff done calls. That is a prospecting call. That is reaching out to a past client to check in, reaching out to a VIP, a potential VIP. Those are outbound on purpose phone calls that you're making. So a lot of people don't make any, right? The ultimate goal, probably going to get work to get to 60. Don't panic. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I make 60 phone calls. Well, do you? Because if we're talking about non already in process work calls, right? So we're going to talk about daily calls. We're going to talk about theme days. We're going to talk about how we're going to get you into calls if you're not doing them, what to say, who to call. We're not going to do that today, but we're going to be tracking your daily calls because let's face it, sales, we talked about as a contact sport. You either have to be on the phone or you have to be in front of someone. And you're on the phone to get in front of someone, right? Like we maintain, yes, some relationships on the phone, but I use the phone to get in front of people, right? To set coffees or to invite them to an event or whatever it may be. So we got to be talking to our clients. We can't just text them. Do text count? No. Can you text? Yes. And we're going to talk about some things that are going to effectively get you in front of people on purpose. So we'll talk about that. Events, attend or host. So an event can be you go to a Rotary meeting, you go to a chamber meeting, you go to a class, like you teach a class, right? So you attend or host meetings. Do people have questions like about that? So if you're on a board, that's an event that you're attending a meeting, right? If you are attending a charity function, that's an event. If you're hosting a function, if you're having a happy hour, those are events. How are we doing on events so far, personally, with you guys in your business?
I would say um, definitely room for improvement, but there's at least some.
Okay. Well, again, I think to me, I'm about an event I want to attend. So I'm pretty blunt. So just so you guys know, for me, it's a hell yes or a hell no. I'm not wishy-washing myself into an event. I'm not going to go to an event that I'm not going to talk to people. I'm not going to go to an event that I'm not interested in connecting with people. So for me, if you find events and things that you're excited about, organizations you want to be involved with, groups that are going to, you know, give you energy and make you want to connect with people, that's great, right? Like to go to an event and just not participate at all or see how quickly you can get out of there, frankly, is not going to be a point. So we'll talk about these events and things that can be most effective but fun for all of you. Okay. All right. Videos. Woo! How we doing with videos? Oh, killing it. I can see. So we're talking about videos. So videos sent. So I will tell you, like, we're going to go more by batch, right? So if you do a video to all of your database, we'll call that a video, right? I'm going to teach you how to do that, but we need to be getting out on video too. You could do videos. I'm big on video texts, right? So instead of leaving a voicemail, I like a video text to someone because they can see your face. So I'm going to work with you on social media posts, videos that you can send prior to home inspections, videos that you can send of next steps that your clients need to do. So we're going to get you used to video. If you're not doing videos at all, you might want to look into BombBomb, B-O-M-B, B-O-M-B. Easiest way to record and send videos, quite frankly. It's foolproof. You can embed them very easily into emails so that you don't get bounce back, right? Like it's not an attachment, it's part of the email. So there are many other programs, but that's one, and we can talk about that. Then we have hours prospected on the phone and face to face, right? So if I'm making 2 hours of outbound phone calls, there's 2 hours on the phone on Monday, right? Prospecting. Face to face, my listing appointments, my buyer consults, my VIP appointments, right? Those are all face to faces. So business partners, potential business partners, listings, buyers. Those are prospecting face to face, right? That's in front of people. So if I have a listing appointment, that might be 2 hours of prospecting face to face. If I'm showing buyers 3 houses, that might be 2 hours. I'm going to teach you the kind of timing on all of that, but I want to make that clear. And then there's cards written. Pretty simple. You need to be doing cards. So, birthday cards, anniversary cards, thank you for working with me cards, thank you for meeting with me cards, whatever it may be, right? So we're going to make sure that you are sending cards to your past clients, to your VIPs, right? Really writing notes. People keep those notes. I have notes from 20 years ago that my team has always tried to make me throw out, and I never do that. So I will keep my notes. They're now, right now, my notes are right over here. Like I keep them all. So I think there are not enough notes being written and they will stand out. So we're going to work on those. And then those actions should turn into results, right? So if I'm prospecting, I should now have listing appointments, right? So when I have a listing appointment, I have one listing appointment on Monday. If I have a buyer showing, now for me, if I have one buyer and I'm showing them 4 houses, that's one showing. Like I'm not, if, I'm not counting it 4 times if it's the same person. But if I have 3 buyers in one day, I count that as three. Does that make sense? Because at some point you're replicating. I can only sell, if I show 10 houses, I can only sell them once, not 10 times, right? So showings for me, I count one client as one. Um, VIP meetings. So I'm meeting a client or my financial advisor who's right over here. I'm having a meeting with him to talk about things for next year. That's a VIP business meeting. Or I'm interviewing accountants because I want to have an accountant that I can send business to, right? And share business with. Those are VIP business meetings, right? And then leads. How many leads do you get every day? So can any of you tell me how many leads you need every day, every week, every month to hit your goals? We're going to figure that out. So we'll have goals, right? So your goals will all be different. So let's say I'm making this up now, but Darren wants to sell 10 a month, Rachel wants to sell 5, and Lance wants to sell 20. Who needs the most leads?
Lance.
Lance, by many more, right? So Lance better have a higher volume of leads, right? Or a much better closing percentage, but we'll also, not everyone needs 100 leads. Not everyone needs 25 leads, right? We're going to figure out based on your business and on your conversion how many leads you need. So that's something we're going to figure out. Then it's pretty simple. From your buyer showings, did you write a contract? From your listing appointment, did you get a listing agreement signed? Now, let's be clear, you can have a listing appointment on Monday, sign the agreement on Wednesday. It's not always a one-to-one. But if I keep seeing that, let's say Rachel goes to 5 listing appointments a week, but is signing no listings. There's 2 problems. The one, if she goes to 0 listing appointments a week, that's a problem. But if she goes to 5 and we're not converting them, then I got to work on her presentation, her closing skills, her conversion, right? Her interview, right? We got to see what's going on, right? So we're tracking your activity and then your results, because if you're calling 100 people a week and you're not getting any business, we're wasting a lot of time, right? That means we're having ineffective phone calls. We got to figure out who we're calling, what we're saying, right? And we got to help you convert. So that's the point of this. And then you have the end of the day wrap up. Now, when I say I'm least concerned about evening, like to me, before you leave, you do a wrap up. You take that same to-do list, you cross off what's done. Anything that didn't get done, you move it on to the next day's to-do list, right? You always have a list. Evening routine for me, that's getting my stuff ready at night, right? That's the most prepared I can be for the next day for the least amount of chaos. Now, we're all grown adults. Why is bedtime on here? Because I can't tell you how many people are like, I stay up till 2. I like to watch movies and then I don't go to work till 10:30. No, we ain't doing that. So you're all grown adults. I'm not going to give you a bedtime, but if you're realizing that your evening routine is chaos and you're staying up too late, and we're not getting into the office in the morning, we're going to be working on that. Does that make sense? Any questions on this form? Now, you will have questions. You're going to be like, well, is this a showing or a break bread? We're going to figure all of that out. Sometimes it could be both. So we're going to figure out how we're going to track everything, but this is where we're going to start. Okay? Sound good?
It's good.
Okay. That's your success tracker to every call. Yay! Now, your lead tracker. Okay. So we need leads, right? All the prospecting you do and everything, we need leads. No leads, no business, right? So if you're working your butt off every week and talking to hundreds of people and going on all these appointments, but we got no leads, and then we don't convert those leads, those are our problems. So here, it's a pretty easy tracker. So you fill out one per month. So when January 1st comes, every single lead that comes to you from January 1st to January 31st goes on this form. If you get too many leads, just add a second page. I'll be thrilled for you. But it's, just keep going. I don't care if they come to you via text, email, phone call, line at the grocery store, does not matter. Any lead, any source that comes in goes on this form. Because if you guys are doing Zillow or you're doing Realtor.com or you're doing any cold lead source, and especially if you're paying for it, I need to be abundantly clear how many leads you're getting, how many leads you're converting, right? Because before we say you're going to stop doing that or you're going to start doing this, I have to see the effectiveness. Are they all good leads, bad leads? Is it that we're not getting to them quickly enough? Whatever it may be. Okay. So, name is their name. Pretty simple. Code is at the bottom of the form. So we're going to show you what the code is, what the source code is. Result of call will be set listing appointment, meeting in the office for a buyer consult, whatever it may be, right? Put on auto email, whatever it is, the result of that set appointment to show homes. Phone call, email, I want you to have something on here because I print these forms. So I have a folder. It's a legal folder. Looks like this, has all my forms in it that I can grab and take with me. So I appreciate y'all we're all computer people. Yep, me too. But I can tell you that I do a way better job tracking if I take the form with me because sometimes I get a lead in the car or sometimes I might get it at home. So when I have my lead tracker with me, you can put it on your phone, you do whatever you want. I have found that is the most effective for me. So I want to make sure if I'm in the call and if I'm in the car and I need to call them. Now, of course, I can save their number. We're all smart like that. But I like to have their contact information in front of me. And then number of calls is our tracker because a lot of y'all will get a lead. You'll call them once and you never call them again. So as we're trying to convert them, we want to make sure that we're not just reaching out to them once. All right. So Rebecca, will you go towards the bottom? Because you see where it says code. So now there's more lines. You see a G line, G over under total. That's your goal line. I'll be working with you to give you your goal on your calls. You will not all have the same goal, right? I need to see, and again, just so we're all clear, I'm getting you January 1, and unless you can turn me in like 6 or 8 months of lead trackers that I know you get this many leads per month and you have this many transactions per month, and this is your conversion, it's going to take us a few months to be super clear how many leads you need and what your conversion is. I don't get that in 1 month. So we're going to be working on that goal. That's what the G line is. And now you see a bunch of letters. Those are the codes. So CCR, what's a CCR?
Current client referral.
Yes, thank you. Current client referral. That's a huge goal because how much does it cost you to get a current client referral?
Not much, hopefully.
Zero, because Darren's my client and I have a consultation with him and I talk to him about the importance of referrals and how we're going to ask, right? We're going to check in, make sure we're doing really well, and we're going to check to remind them, right? If they know of anyone who's buying or selling, current client referral, all through the transaction. So from the first meeting through closing would be a current client referral, right? What's a PCR?
Past client referral.
Correct. So hopefully y'all have databases, and hopefully one database is all your past clients delineated. So we got past clients, we might have business partners, we might have leads, we might have whatever. But past clients, so anyone that you've ever sold a house to that sends you a referral is a past client referral. If they're a past client, it's a past client referral. Okay? That's a good goal. So we want our past clients to refer us because they know us, like us, trust us. Now, I only want the nice people. And I tell them, I was like, hey, anyone that you love, that's great, refer me. If they're not so great, please don't send them my way. What's a PC?
Past client.
You're right. Past client. Anyone who's ever worked with you before that comes back to you, right? So Darren, I sold you a house 5 years ago. You coming back to buy and sell another house, you're a past client. Pretty simple. What's a PF?
Personal friend. Sorry, I'm the only one.
Personal. Yeah, personal friend. So PF is a personal friend. So a personal friend. Now, this is where people, let's keep this easy. I have many, many, many personal friends that are past clients. My rule is if I've ever worked with them, if they've ever bought a house with me, they're a past client. If they send me a referral, it's a past client referral. They can still be my friend. The only people I put in personal friend are personal friends that have never worked with me before in a transaction. That's just how I keep it simple for keeping track, right? So, personal friend who's never worked with me, who's never bought or sold with me, is a personal friend. If they're a personal friend and a past client, they're a past client because you can't count them twice. And you market to your and talk to your past clients differently. Your past clients get annual reviews. Your past, right? They have a different relationship and communication structure with you. So, that's how I delineate those. Any questions on that? Okay. Well, what's realtor? There you go. So realtor, any realtor that sends you a referral across the country. Now, those can be sporadic. Some of you might market to realtors in certain areas that have clients moving into your area. That's a realtor referral, right? So any licensed realtor sends you a referral. Okay, what's ad? What falls under ad,
Any marketing?
right? So any marketing. So it could be literal an ad. It could be what else? What else could fall under ad?
Things like Zillow leads and
Correct.
things like that. Anything we
Zillow.
pay, basically.
Zillow, Realtor.com, Homelight, blah, blah, blah. Ad can also be a sign call. Ad is farming, right? All of these things fall under ad. Now, on this form, they're all an ad. And when we're done with the bottom, I'll go back to the top and just give you an example. But to me, if I ever write ad in the above code line, I do ad slash, what is it? Ad slash sign call, ad slash Zillow, ad slash farming. Because any of these sources you're working to get business from, you can't just put ad, right? We can't have 78 because remember, I can't have an 80 column lead tracker. So we have to group them together. But for you and your personal business, especially, if you look up ad and all of a sudden you go, dang, I have 19 sign calls over the last 4 months, pay attention to that, right? So that's been a significant source of business. How do I get more of those? Right. So that's why we're paying attention. Then there's business. BUS is business. All of my business partners, my attorneys, my builders. Now I know it says builder. I have a builder flipper. I have a business relationship with him. So my accountant, any business partner, attorneys, whoever it may be, go under business, right? Does that make sense? Then there's builder. So to me, if you get builder reps, like community reps that send you business, or you work with a builder and they send you business, you could put it there. I put my flipper under business versus builder, but that's just a delineated source. So you're going to, you see all the zeros there. That's just because this is the main form. As you're filling out the form and you turn it in on your call, which is your second call of the month, you're going to, from the source and code above. So let's say you got 10 leads. You're going to fill in under the lead line how many of each source you got to give me the total of the number of leads you have in the form above, right? So that's pretty simple. So that's leads. The T is transactions. Okay, the T line. Now people get confused here. Let's keep it simple. A transaction is any source of business you write that month. So between January 1st and the 31st, any listing you take, any buyer that goes under contract is a transaction. It does not matter if that lead was from January, it's the transaction is in January. So the top is all the leads, and sometimes you could get Jan Smith as a lead on January 1st, and she goes under contract January 15th. She might be a lead in a transaction the same month, but she might not be. My transaction from this month could have been someone I talked to 6 months ago. You don't repeat the lead that's on a previous lead tracker, but they're now a transaction. They're a listing or a buyer that's gone under contract. Does anyone have questions about that?
Probably.
I want you to keep it simple. Any lead that comes in goes on the top. Anyone that goes under contract, right, as a buyer or a listing agreement that you signed as a transaction this month. This form is tracking activity. Your pay log is tracking money that comes in that month. So it's not, you don't just take what closed that month on your pay log and make it a transaction on this form. Transaction is activity, right? I could have a transaction like I just sold a house that's going to close in 8 months, but it's still a transaction this month. I wrote that contract this month. on this form. It's not going to be on my pay log for 8 months. We're tracking your activity. This is how many leads have come in. Here's how many pieces of business I wrote this month. Not the closed transaction I wrote. Okay?
And so the slash, so you have total written transactions and then a
Okay.
slash
So,
below
yep.
that, and then a divide, and then listings and buyers. So is
Yep.
that slash
So,
above listings and buyers?
right. So let's say I had, doesn't matter how many leads right now on the transaction line. Let's say this month I have 5 transactions. And when I go to the box on the right, of those total written, right? We just talked about it, not closed, written transactions. I wrote 3 listing agreements and I put 2 buyers under contract. So my total on the T line would have been
Got it.
5. I'd have a 3 over listings and a 2 over buyers.
Got
And
it.
then, which equals, then the next line says transactions. That would again be 5. And then what it says is divided by number of leads, which would be how many leads you got that month. We're going to talk about that another time because it'll take me too long to explain it. Just trust me. We're going to start to look at a conversion. It is not a one-to-one conversion because the transaction could have come from a lead month ago, but I'm going to show you how it works. You're just going to trust me for now. I'm going to help you figure that out as we go. Okay? Yes, no, maybe so.
Sounds good.
Okay, any questions on this so far? You will. And like I said, just write on them. So you'll have your lead tracker and you might say, what do I do with this? Or I'm not sure about that. Cool. Just either send me an email, call me, write it on the form. It's fine. We will figure it out. Okay. Okie dokie. Can we thumbs up so I know we're all here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to do whatever form Rebecca tells us we're doing because Rebecca's the boss. Oh, our pay log. Okay. Now, let me help you with this. See the tabs on the bottom of the screen, January, February, March, April. Please use those because this form will do the math for you most of the time. Sometimes there's a weird, because it's like an Excel sheet. Sometimes something messes up. But so when January comes, use the January tab. And then when February comes, use the February tab. Don't just say, oh, I didn't have any closings this month. I'm just going to keep going. Every month is a different tab, right? And so if you have a 0 month, you have a 0 month. But January's coming. The pay log is for all the closings that month and your pay for that month, right? So that's how we're tracking your income. On the lead tracker, we tracked your activity. The pay log is the money that's actually coming in. That's like we got to pay our bills with money, right? Like so far, all the bill companies expect money. And so we got to make some money. So January, it will then say 2026. Okay. It's pretty simple, actually. If you look, the close date, January 1st, January 10th, January 15th. Now, you're going to fill in all of the closings through the end of the month, right? So I don't care if you have 6 closing January 31st and you're turning this in on January 22nd, they're still slated to close that month. So I want all closings for the month. Now, if they fall through, cool, we can fix it later, right? But all closings for the month. So you're going to put the close date, pretty simple. You're going to put your client's name, also simple, right? The gross to the team after the company split. So gross, forget if you don't have a team, but like if I made a $10,000 commission, like according to my commission, I'm the, 2 Better Homes, that's my company, 2 Better Homes and Gardens, 10 grand came in. But I only get, let's pretend I'm on an 80-20 split, which means really to Marjorie, the team of Marjorie comes 8 grand. That's what goes in the gross to team after company split. What did you actually receive into your company, right? Into your business account. We'll fix you if you don't have a business in a separate account, but not the gross that came in over here before your company got paid. If you're on 100%, fine, it's the same thing, but most people are on some sort of split. Okay. So that's gross to team. Net to you after team splits is if you have a team member. So for all of you that it's just you, the gross to team, let's pretend was that 8,000, the net to team is still going to be 8,000, right? Because you don't have any team members. But let's say Darren has 4 buyer agents, okay? And into Darren Ricketts' team came 8,000, but his buyer agent, Ann, made 50%, right? So the net to him would be 4. So the gross would have been 8, net would be 4. For most of you, if it's just you, that gross and net number will be the same. But if you have team members that get splits, that's where that number will be. The net to you really means what comes to you after you pay out any realtors on your team. Does that make sense? Okay. Sales price, pretty simple. Right? What did it close for? And then the source of business, same thing. So if someone closes, the Smiths close on January 10th, right? The source of business, they were a current client referral. They were a past client referral. They were an ad slash, right? Because we've got sign on here helping you, but I want the source because at the end of the year, you can see I had X many closings and here's where that business came from. You should be able to find it on your lead tracker, but this is the easiest way, right? So if you have one closing, there you go. If you have five, you fill out the first five. And the form as you go down should. You're going to have to check this once in a while because if you put an extra dollar sign or comma or a period or somehow put a minus, it'll mess up. But if you scroll to the bottom of the form, it's going to show then total how many, right? So totals here, how many closed, right? What the totals were, what the source of business were, and it's going to figure out how many closed this month, how many closed year to date. It's going to help you with net averages. It's going to take you at net commissions, right? It's going to track your numbers. Now, it will not track your numbers. You see down below where it says average team expense. Average team expense. And there's a little line. So we're going to figure out, I don't care if you're a team or an individual, there are business expenses that you have. Nobody works for free, right? You have signs and dues and photos and blah, blah. We're going to get that off of a profit and loss. That goes on here. So like it costs me average 15 grand a month to run my team. So on average team expenses will show 15 because it's going to calculate out, right, the expenses I have. So commission minus expenses, which is going to give me a projected year-end income. Now, obviously, the first couple months, it ain't going to do very well. So you have one closing in January, it's going to project you a very small income. You're going to continue to grow. But you're going to fill in this form once a month. So you're going to turn this pay login with the lead tracker in your second call. Okay? Should be pretty easy. Anytime you have someone go under contract, fill in that proper month. It's not hard, right? If you have a March closing that you write now, go ahead and go to the March tab, fill it in, right? You can also check them, adjust them, move them, whatever you need to do. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Yes. Okay. So you will be filling that in as well. Tracking your commissions, because then we're going to see what your average price is. We're going to see what your expenses are. We're going to see if you're on a weird split, right? We're going to see if you're paying too much in fees, right? We're going to know all those things. Okay. Is that all we got? Are those the personal, no, whoopsie doops. The personal family budget. Okay. Please, 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 please don't make this harder than it has to be. Like I have people that like stress over this form. Now, this is where people get confused. This is not a QuickBooks actual like cash accrual accounting. Okay. This is big bucket numbers. So I say that to you because you turn this in at the beginning of the month. For example, on your first call, right? You will turn in, I don't know if we're going to start you right away with the profit and loss, but we'll talk about that. But generally, when January comes along, you will have completed your December profit and loss because December's over. And then you're filling in your January personal budget because you're bringing December's money home. I will help you figure this out. But this form is not all that complicated, but people get a little stressed about it. So let me make it simple. You're basically just going to account for all the bills you pay every month on this form. And we have to put you on a budget. So a budget is not, oh, look how much money I spent. I'm overspending. This is what fits within my income, my means, so I can save money. Okay. So some of these are simple. House, that's your mortgage. So if you have a mortgage where it says house, there's the little blue line there. I want you to fill in what you owe right there. You can type right in there. So if you owe 300,000 as a principal balance, you will put 300,000 right there next to house. And your minimum owed monthly is literally your monthly payment. Right? Not hard. That's pretty simple. Then auto. So if I have a car payment and I owe 30,000 ultimately still on my car, I would say auto 30,000. And then my minimum owed monthly is my car payment. Now, if I have more cars, there's blank lines underneath, right? Student loans. If you owe student loans, then you're going to have what you owe every month. Okay, and if you don't have student loans, you don't have to worry about that. Then you see credit cards. So if I have a Visa, right? So under line 10, I would put Visa. And if I owe 15,000, like outstanding on the Visa, I would write Visa 15,000. And then I would put the minimum owed, not 15,000, but if I have to pay 250 a month, right? That's the minimum payment on that credit card. That's what would go as minimum owed in column 2. So if you have no credit cards, you don't worry about it. If you have 6 credit cards, you're going to have to put your balances out because I got to see. Right? Does that make sense? Like these are bills that are owed. So your minimum owed monthly is because we're seeing how much do you need to bring in every month to meet your minimum bills? Like you got to pay your bills with money, right? So we've got to have at least a certain amount of money to pay what we owe, what we must pay to live off of. Then you can see as you go down, there's your electric bill, right? So you fill in your electric bill, which you owe, your gas bill. This is more like propane slash, right? Fuel, gas, oil, cell phone, cable, sewer, water. We've got dry cleaning, yard maintenance, daycare. Now, here's the cool thing about this form. You don't have little kids. You can change where it says daycare. You can click on it, write something else, right? You don't obviously fill in what doesn't apply to you. There's insurance. So for me, I have insurance. That's my disability in life. So you can specify that there. Trash pickup, internet. Now, number 15 through 26, whatever bills they tend to be recurring bills that are set, right? Like your electric bill, you don't just toss out a number, you pay what you owe. So that would be for all those bills. Once you get to gas and groceries, this is where people like lose their marbles. So let's keep this simple. So what I think makes sense for you to do, most of you probably do online banking. So you're able to now go and look at from January to December, like my online bank gives me little categories, right? That shows me how much I tend to spend on groceries, how much I tend to spend on gas, how much I spend on restaurants, right? So when we're doing that, we're going to have a budget. So this is what a budget is, right? Like if I realize, okay, I know it tends to cost $1,000 a month for groceries for my household, right? That's the going average. That's my goal. That's the budget. That's the number that's going to go here right next to groceries, not in the little blue line, but in the little C column. Now, this is where people are like, I haven't spent the money yet. It's only the 1st of January. I don't know what I'll spend this month. Got it, right? But I get this form one time at the beginning of the month, and you guys are supposed to live on a budget, which means I need to realize either again for us, like my husband's a chef. There's only 2 of us. My food budget is 2,000. Our grocery budget is 2,000 a month. Okay.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, I eat really well. And it's all organic and he goes to farmers and I don't cook ever. I don't go to a grocery store. I hate cooking. I hate grocery stores. I make cookies once a year. We have a very high grocery budget. 2 grand, right? And I eat super well organically, all the stuff. That's high, but I can afford it, right? And that's the budget. So now I can go under it, but if I'm going over it, I got to either go, we got to live on budget, or I got to cut expenses somewhere else. So you guys have to figure out for your household, what's the budget? Is it 800? Is it 1,000? Food's expensive, right? So you've got to look into your actual spending, not some exorbitant number, but what do you need to spend every month on groceries and not live on, ramen? Yes, Carolinda.
Am I filling this out as just my income, like a theoretical just my income? Because I'm a dual income household.
That's perfect. And we're going to get into that. No, these are the family bills. So what's not on here, like if you go back up to like column 10 through 14, it could be school. It could be, you name it, clothing. It could be other household expenses. It could be whatever it may be. This is for your household. So that's for the expenses to run your home, right? For your whole house, your kids, whatever, right? Go on here. And where you see things like gas and groceries, like I know it costs us about $400 a month on gas. I get a lot of my gas through my company, so that's why it's a little more reasonable. But we know based on our budget, it's about $400 a month. That's what I put in gas. I want you guys almost to imagine, I don't know a better way to explain this, that you've determined, okay, let's say it's $1,000 for groceries. $1,000 is what your goal is to spend. It's almost like you've got an envelope with $1,000 in it. And that is your budget for the month. And that's what you're putting on here. Now, you guys are able to, at the end of January or at the end of February, go, oh, it's really 1,200, right? Like, so you have two options. You raise that budget number or you spend less, right? Because we're working within a budget, right? So we're working into what does it cost us to live and where are we spending money? And I know that's weird. So for me, where people got confused is they're like, it's not the end of the month yet. I'm like, I know, but if you're living on a budget, it's not, this is what I spent at the end of the month. It's this is my budget that I'm allowed to spend this month, right? This is what our family spends on these big ticket items. Does that make sense? Now, example, you turn this form in on the 5th and you blow 4 tires on the 10th and you spent 2,000 on tires. Okay, you can add, you're going to have to make adjustments, but you only turn this into me once, right? You don't turn it into me the 5th and the 10th and the 18th and the 27th and the 30th, right? Like I get a one shot at it. So it's not going to be 100% accurate. I get it, right? But it's a snapshot on what the budget is. This is not QuickBooks. This is not every dollar you spent you're putting in there. So it's not 100% accurate. Okay. This is where people get frustrated, but I need to put you on a budget. And most of you aren't on one, right? Like you're not really tracking all this. So, like, if you scroll down, a lot of people are also like spending money all over the place, right? Woo, woo. Well, let me tell you your new reality. Yay. Spending money. Guess what? Until we know what you guys are making, or you're making so much more and hitting your savings number a month that you're just knocking it out of the park, each of you, so like Carrie Linda, if it's you and your husband or whoever, right? Like Rachel, you and whatever, $200 a person. So if you're a couple, you get to put $400 there, $200 a person. And that spending money means you don't have to tell Margie where that money went. So if you want to buy a lottery ticket every day, if you want to go and buy $400 shoes, I don't know $400 shoes, so you'd have to help me out with that. But I spend no money on, but you know what I'm saying? You have $200 each of you to spend on whatever you want. You can't get mad at the person, but that's all you got. So what the funny part is I'll get these and spending money says like $8,600. No, no, no. Beyond that $400, you have to account where that money went. So if you got 4 tires under groceries, you would write 4 tires and you would tell me what you spent. And if you had to put, a siding repair or 6 new windows, that is not lumped because I can't help you budget when it's lumped. So you lovely people get $200 each. And literally, since it's a budget, if the way I would look at it is come January 1st, you both get your allowance. Here's your 200. Here's your 200. You spend it on what you want. If you want to save it, cool. But like I said, I don't care what you spend it on because that's what you don't have to tell me. Everything else, you have to tell me. Now, you see this lovely miscellaneous line. It's not meant for you to lump everything. It's kind of for you to start filling in below, right? Because otherwise people are like, I don't know where all my money went. And every month their spending's 4,000 and miscellaneous is 6,000. And I'm like, gosh, I can't imagine, right? We have no way to account for it. We have to account for where your money's going because then we have to determine, right? So basically you end up with a total and you'll see at the bottom line 45 says total. Right now it says 0 and it says survival number because you have filled in the bills you have to pay every month, right? To survive, right? You've got to buy groceries, you've got to pay your mortgage, you've got to make your car payments, you got to hit your budgets, you got to have gas, you've got to have groceries. If you have kids, you might have to pay for a private school, you might have to pay for a tutor. Those are all other line items there for you. And you have a total as a survival number. So that tells me I'm going to know pretty soon I told you mine at work is 15. Mine at home is like 15 as well. Between mortgage, rental. Now there are different way money comes in, but mortgage, rental, car, disability, life insurance, groceries, gas, you name it, right? Like all of those bills. So guess what? If I'm telling you right now that I have to have 15,000 at home and 15,000 at work, how much money do I have to make every month?
30.
30,
Well, more.
Yeah.
kind of more. Yeah.
More. Because remember, I got to pay taxes because the IRS will find you. So I really like you've got to think about it. I don't want to just work to I can't just net
Yes.
even every month or I'm never going to retire. I'm going to be 180 million years old and I'll never retire. Right? So realistically, when you guys
So you
I
got
got
to make about 42 grand a month minimum.
Thank you. Really, it's 45, like at least 45, because I also
Yeah.
need to save money. Like I got to
Yeah.
retire. I'm 54. Like I am not going to do this when I'm 90. So we're going to be tracking also, you see lines 40 to 42. We're going to have some savings goals. Now, just so you know, like you'll all get a savings goal. Let's pretend it's 2 grand a month. We're going to figure that out. And you have to save every month because again, I don't know if you guys want to work till you're 90, but I don't. So we're going to track savings. And so Carrie Linda, you mentioned your spouse. Rebecca, will you go back to the top so I can show them the top of column 5? Okay. Column 5 is total paychecks. Any money that comes into your checking account at home, which should not be your commissions. Because some people will be like, on my pay log, I made 30,000 in January, and I see column 5 says 30,000. No, no, no. Because what that means is you dumped your commissions into your checking account at home. You didn't run it through your business. You didn't take out your business expenses. You didn't save money for taxes and then bring home what you're allowed to bring home. That's what we're going to be doing, right? You're going to be allowed to bring home a certain amount based on what you made that month, what your, taxes are. And then when we go do that form, I'll show you. But total paychecks is if you get rent payments, dividend payments, your spouse makes payments. So your commission, if you get a salary, your spouse's salary, you have a rental and you get $1,500 a month in rental, you get $1,000 from your investment account. It doesn't matter. Any money that comes in is brought in on column 5, right? So, and here's the clarity. Column 5, well, better be more than column 2 because you got to pay your bills. Like until your mortgage company goes, I get it. Real estate market's tough. You're not going to pay your mortgage this month. That's not happening. So you got to understand, and I'll teach you. We're not going to figure it all out today, but column 5, you might have to bring in money from a float account or from a savings account to pay your bills because you still got to pay your bills. So we're going to work on all of that, and I'm going to fine tooth comb this with you. But I'm telling you, if I'm you, I would print a couple of these out. Like, this is for next year, but I would print a couple out, even if it's October, November, December, and fill it in as for this year, right? Like October, November, December. Start working on, be clear. Like you should be able to tell me, can you all tell me what you spend on gas as a family a month, what you spend on groceries, your basic bills, like my electric bill is about $200, super awesome. For some reason, my cell phone is paid through the business. Ooh, I will touch that. This is the personal family budget. This is for the bills you pay for at home, not at work. So you have, or should have, and you will have a business account and you'll have a personal account. The business account is to pay all the business expenses at your business. Your personal account pays for your personal bills. So, like my cell phone is paid for through the business account. It will not show up on my personal budget because that's not my personal money paying for it. It's the business account. If you have a business vehicle, right? Like for some reason, talk to your accountant. Do not, I'm not your accountant. If you pay for your vehicle in your business, it's on your profit and loss, right? So we don't mix our money. If it's a business credit card, you pay for it out of your business, not out of your personal. So it should only be personal bills that are on the personal budget, not through your business. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? But you're not currently doing that, and that's why you're looking at me like that?
I have this all really, really dialed in. Personally.
Oh,
Like I am real dialed in with this stuff.
you go,
So,
girl. Okay,
yeah.
because in a loving way, most people aren't, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
This is the only thing I am really dialed in with.
Fantastic. But this
That's
is important stuff, right?
it. Yeah.
Ultimately the goal is, right? You come to a conference or whatever, like we're all talking and I go, "Hey, what's your survival number at work?" Oh, I got to bring in about 15,000 a month because that tends to be the basic bills. Sweet. What about at home? Well, to pay the bills and groceries and everything, it's about 15 grand. Okay. How many leads do you need a month to hit your goals? Well, I need about 20. And what's your conversion rate? Mine's 74%, right? Like what is my biggest source of leads? My past client and my past client referrals, right? Like that's kind of what our goal is here, that you are very clear on your numbers. Yeah, Darren.
Yeah.
Kind of a confusing question because I am separated, so I have my business stuff and but like I have an expense on my business side that is pay myself a salary,
Yes, yes, yes. And we
right?
were going
And
to show you
so,
that. If you pay a
okay,
salary, there is a line on your profit and loss for salary, right? So
okay,
basically, if you make 40 grand a month and 10 grand's your salary, it looks like an expense, but clearly you bring it home. So then on your column 5, it'll say salary 10 grand or whatever that is.
over
So
on
yes,
five.
it's
Okay,
good. But when you tell me you pay yourself a salary, it should be a consistent salary. Like
yeah,
when your accountant says you pay yourself a salary, it's 5 grand a month. It's not once every 8 months. That's a draw, right? Like a salary should be
yeah.
consistent every month, whether taxes are taken
I
out or
do
not.
both a salary and a draw. So
That's fine. And so you would say salary 5,000, draw 8,000, whatever it is,
got
right?
it.
Commission 6,000, rent 1,500. The more specific you are, the better.
Okay.
You and for me. So that's okay. That's a good thing. And ultimately, depending if you're an S corp or an LLC or whatever it is, and by the way, we will not get into that here. You will have to if you're doing salary and draws, you're probably either an LLC or S corp. I'm an S corp.
I'm an
Uh,
S corp.
there you go. So you will have salaries and draws. You guys might be like, "Hey, what? Don't worry, right? We're not going to worry about that right now." Okay.
Cool.
So again, if I could tell you, I would go ahead and print a couple personal budgets, go into my checking account for October, November, December, start filling things in, look at my average, like my spending averages for different buckets, gas, groceries, whatever it may be, household, maybe it's clothes, right? Maybe you realize our family spends 300 bucks a month on clothes. That should be a line item. And the more you can kind of get familiar with this, the easier it's going to be, right? Because it's a budget. And if you have no idea, that means we haven't done a budget, right? Like that means you're not on any sort of budget. It's going to be harder then for you. And like I said, we can't just willy-nilly woo spend, right? Now, unless you bring in 50 grand a month and you're saving 30 grand, then you can do whatever you want. Seriously, like great months. You want a pair of Louboutin shoes, or I don't even know what they're called. You want some fancy schmancy shoes. You have an amazing month. You hit your savings dashboard. You go buy your shoes, right? You have terrible months. You ain't buying your shoes. Like that's what a budget is, right? So I'm not here to be like your mom, right? Or you're, like you're, don't do that. But we're here to make sure it's like we're really cohesively looking at your business and your leads, right? And your goals, and then how are we doing? I mean, I want you to be able to go hog wild and, have lemon drops every night if you want to, right? Like, probably not good for you, but I want you to have fun. I don't want you to be restricted. But let's face it, if we're not making the income we need, then we've got to cut expenses, right? To me, let's sell more houses. Like, I'd rather sell more, make more, save more than have to keep cutting back and feel like, I'm eating tuna salad every day. So
Yeah.
that's what we're looking at. Okay. So Rebecca's going to be getting out your groups soon, like next couple days, maybe
Yeah, hopefully by Friday,
by
before Christmas at the latest.
Yes. So we're going to work on that. And again, here's just do your best. So complete a form to the best of your ability. Write questions on it. Send me an email with questions. I don't care if they're ugly. I don't care if they're messy. I don't care if you're like, what's this? Write on them, print them out, write on them, scan them to me, right? Like whatever you need to do. The more questions you ask, right? The more you struggle with it. And it's some of it's struggling. You're going to be like, I don't know what to do here. We're going to figure it out. Okay. But just know the first 6 months, you're like, ugh, these forms. Once you got them, they're like routine. I don't even think about them anymore. I do my personal budget like the third of the month. I will drink a glass of wine. I will probably watch NCIS, like it'll be on in the background. I got my bills in one hand. I pay them with the other hand. It's just become routine because I've done it for so long. It's going to be a little weird at first, but it will be so much easier when you're used to it. Okay. Now, I want you guys to have a fantastic holiday. We are having our Christmas like team